Today we're going to be taking a look at the best custom fit wiring options for your 2014 Toyota RAV4. Here on your left we're going to have the Curt, part number C56350. Here in the center we're going to have the Tekonsha, part number 118578. And here on your right we're going to have the Hopkins, part number HM111-41820. Let's go over some of the differences between these three. One thing I want to mention first is the box here. This box here is a converter box, and all three of them have it. And what the converter box is going to do is going to protect your factory wiring in your vehicle from any backfeed if your trailer wiring has an issue. The difference between these is on our Tekonsha and our Curt, the wires come in one end, they connect to a circuit board, and the inside of this box, or this converter box, is completely filled with this potting material. And what that potting material is going to do, it's really going to cut down on any vibration that the wires get where they're connected. Where if you look at the Hopkins, it comes in on both sides, it's going to connect to that circuit board, and it's going to be squished between two pieces of plastic. What happens with that is, if it comes loose and it starts vibrating and banging up against the side of the car or wherever it may be mounted, eventually those connections are going to come loose, and that's going to stop working. You're going to end up having to get a whole new wiring harness. This potting material is going to cut down on that. And I'm going to have to give it to Curt for that fact, because they have actually stepped up their product and they've actually added that potting material inside of their converter box. This converter box is quite a bit bigger than the other two, so the Hopkins and the Tekonsha might be a little bit easier to mount somewhere. This one may be a little bit more difficult to get in smaller spaces. Another big difference, you notice on our Hopkins wiring here, where our wires go from a single wire out of our box and they split to a double wire. That connection is made right here, and it's just under some heat shrink. Our Curt is the same way. But if you notice the Tekonsha, that connection is inside of this hard plastic box, which is really going to hold that connection well. So that fact, I think the part of that is going to make this a much more quality product. Another big difference is the power wire that runs from the converter box up to the battery. With our Tekonsha and our Curt, we have 12 gauge wire. With our Hopkins, we have 14 gauge wire. That can be an issue if we have a few extra lights. It may not draw as much power as needed to get the full brightness out of those lights as your 12 gauge wire. On the Hopkins, on the back of their converter box, that's going to tell you the function of each wire, where your Curt and your Tekonsha is not going to have that. With our Hopkins, our 4-pole wire that's coming out, all of it is actually separated. And then you're going to have probably a quarter to a half of it taped together. Now, this is going to be a matter of personal preference, but with the Tekonsha and the Curt, the 4-pole wiring is actually glued together, so it's basically one strip of wire. Now, my personal preference, I'd rather have my wiring glued together like this than being apart. I think this is not as clean look. Now, as far as amps per circuit for each one of these, for the Tekonsha, you're going to have 5 amps per circuit for your stop and turn and 7.5 amps for your taillights, where your Curt and your Hopkins, you're going to have 3 amps per circuit for your stop and turn and 6 amps per circuit for your taillights. A minor difference, but it is a difference, is the Hopkins, your connections, your butt connector and your ring terminal is going to come pre-installed. So that's one step you're not going to have to do. With the Tekonsha and the Curt, you will have to install those. Now let's go over some of the similarities between these three. All these are going to give you the proper lighting functions to safely tow your trailer down the road. Brake lights, running lights, both turn signals, and your grounds. All these are going to install exactly the same. They're going to plug in directly to the factory wiring in the vehicle. They're going to have a power wire that runs up to the battery. They're all going to come with the proper fittings, butt connectors, ring terminals, if they're not already installed, to get them installed. Also going to come with fuse holders and fuses. They're going to come with the ground wire that gets mounted to somewhere on a metal surface, the body, or an existing bolt or something on the vehicle. In summary, as far as ease of installation, I'm going to have to give that to the Hopkins. because of the fact that they already have the butt connectors and ring terminals already installed. That's one less step we have to take. As far as durability, I might have to give it to the Tekonsha, not only because of the converter box, but because of where the wires are connected. As far as my personal preference, I'm going to have to go with the Tekonsha because of the durability factor. That'll do it for a look at the best custom fit vehicle wiring for your Toyota RAV4.